Hi, I'm Bob.Woolverton, your Northwest Realty Advisor, and how are you on this fine day? Me? I'm all set to go to give you the top 4 tips that people have in common that have sold their home for more than list price. That's our episode today on Northwest Realty Advisor. Stick around. Okay, so today we're going to talk about the top 4 common elements that people had that sold their home for above list price. Recently, there was a survey done of home sellers. Basically, the survey was done on the West Coast. And to qualify for selling your home for more than list price, it had to be a minimum of 2% more than your list price. So in the example that I always use, the $500,000 home, that means you would have had to sell your house for at least $10,000 more than that $500,000 asking price to be considered in the results of this particular survey. But there were 4 things that they had in common. What were those 4 things? In essence, sellers who sold for at least 2% more than ask price, number 1, they planned ahead. Number 2, they enlisted a trusted agent. Number 3, they did some updates to their home. And number 4, they understood that online appeal is the new curb appeal. So let's dive a little deeper into each one of those elements. So number 1, that they planned ahead. In essence, 73% of these respondents said that they did online research to figure out what would make their home look better and be more appealing to potential buyers. And that 73% of that did that through real estate related websites. 40% went to real estate brokerage websites to get similar information. And 73% also consulted social networks to get that information. So a lot of initial research before they decided to actually put their house on the market. Matter of fact, in a different part of the survey, people that did sell their homes, regardless of how much they got, they said they were going to do it again. The number 1 thing they would do differently is start planning earlier. So obviously, planning ahead is a major component to not only being more successful in your real estate transaction, but potentially getting more than your asking price. So the second item, that they enlisted a trusted agent. Of those people that sold for more than their list price, 90% of them used a real estate agent. And 58% of them used a real estate agent from the very beginning of the planning process. So those are another 2 criteria that can help you achieve a higher price for your home. Number 3, they updated their home. In essence, they tackled that expensive, messy renovation and they didn't pass that on to the buyer. Now that's a conversation that we will need to have because it's very situational. And the reason I say that is because I have seen where people have remodeled their home for themselves for their own enjoyment, and they just love their house the way it is. And they've actually said, there's no way you can improve in this floor plan. Yet the new buyers that come in, first thing they do is start tearing down walls and moving things around because they have a completely different vision of what your house is capable to become in their eyes. So that would be a discussion we'd have. The second discussion we should have is in the greater Seattle area, it's very hard to get 100% return on your remodel investment unless you're very handy, very economical in the way that you do that. But in this particular survey that was done on the West Coast, 50% of them that sold for more than list price said they modified a floor plan or they finished an unfinished basement. 20% of them said they did some kitchen renovation or instead of that, repaired a roof. And then 8% of them said they did a bathroom upgrade of some sort. So there was some criteria of renovating the house in that price, but that's definitely a discussion we need to have because it's very situational as to what will work for you. The 4th item, that they understood that online appeal is the new curb appeal. Everybody searches for their home online, and we only have seconds to capture their attention to get them to click on your listing to look deeper into that. So 48% of these people said they use professional photography. Now I'm going to put a big qualifier on that. 48% isn't a good number. It should be 100%. If you're interviewing an agent and they're not intending to hire a professional photographer, you need to find another agent. All the agents that I know, that I work with, that I respect, we all use professional photography because online appeal is the new curb appeal. You got to put your best foot forward. And the real estate agent pays for the photographer, so you should be demanding that of all of your agents. So 48% isn't a good number. You should require 100%. 30% of them had listing videos. I do listing videos for all of my properties. I even help friends do listing videos. 28% of the people shared the listing information on their own social media. Now, your agent will do that. They'll be sharing it in every marketing avenue that they have available to them, but it doesn't hurt to share that information among your own sphere of influence. Get that information out there. Obviously, it worked in 28% of the cases here. Professional staging was done in 26% of the cases, and 21% said they had drone imagery. Now, the survey wasn't clear if those were still photos or video. In my listing videos, I always include drone video of the house going around the exterior of the house. It just adds such an element of professionalism to your video, and it gives the potential buyer a much greater idea, not only of your house, but sometimes of the surrounding neighborhood too. So those were the top 4 tips that people had that sold their home for above list price. Now, I've got one piece of bonus information in here, and that is, even though we're in a seller's market, you cannot always anticipate having a bidding war for your home. In the particular case of this survey, 27% of the people that got above ask price only got one offer. They got one really good offer and they took it. 24% got 4 or more offers, so there was definitely a bidding war regarding there. But even as much of a seller's market as we're in now, 86% of them still had an inspection contingency. So in essence, buyers are still protecting themselves by maintaining that inspection contingency in the contract. And all of my clients, I would recommend the same thing. It would be a very rare circumstance that I would recommend waiving an inspection contingency. So those were the top 4 tips plus a little bonus here. I hope that you found some value in this video, especially if you're looking to sell your house, and like all of us, we want to get more than our asking price. Those were the 4 common elements that people had that were successful in doing just that. I hope you found value in this video. If you did, please click the subscribe button. That's the way that I get feedback from you that I'm on the right track and I'm providing something of value. If you know somebody that could value from this information, send them the link to this video. Invite them to Northwest Realty Advisor. I'd love to have them see my videos. And last but not least, down in the comment section, I've got my phone number, I've got my email address. Feel free to call, feel free to send me an email. I'd love to meet you. I'm in the greater Seattle area. My name's Bob Woolverton. I'm your Northwest Realty Advisor. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.